Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. This channel was made to answer questions that perhaps you have when you're going to travel or things that you just haven't done because you can't figure it out. It seems to me like every day I'm sending emails to my mom or messages to my mom trying to help her how to figure out, navigate online, different browsers or different things. So I'm sure there's somebody out there that needs it too. With that being said, um, channel is called Nomad Drifters. If you like what we put out there, follow us, give us a like, or give us a comment. We're really trying to help people who want to pursue traveling the world like we do. And to start traveling, it's important to know how to do one simple thing: how to book your trips. So, this is not a sponsored channel, this is nothing that anybody has paid us for, but the page that I use the most to book our travel, it's called Expedia.com. So directly from your browser, when you open up either Google Chrome or Safari on your Mac, you could go to Expedia.com. I have used multiple browsers and multiple pages as I've traveled through the years, but one of the things that I've found is Expedia tends to be one of the more reliable ones. If you create your sign-in too, they do a good job at giving you rewards and giving you some money back for your trips. So I do encourage you to check it out. There's many other pages that I've used and they've been just as good too, but for the sake of today, this is what I'm going to use. So when you go to Expedia.com, you're going to find these landing page. If you're anything like my mom, she could not figure it out. So, uh, mom, I love you, but I've had to explain this to you like 20 times and I still have to book your tickets, and I probably will for the rest of my life. But when you land in this page, you're going to find in here, hey, stays is the main page. That is if you're going to book hotels or if you want to book like a cabin or something through Expedia. Then you're going to find flights, rental cars, packages, and things to do. I'll break down some things to learn about each of those in a different video, but for the sake of today, we're going to focus on just booking a flight. So I'm originally from Colombia, so we live in Chicago, so I'm going to type in there ORD if you know the three-letter indicator for your airport. If you don't know the three-letter indicator for your airport, don't worry. You can just type the city and all the different options will come up for you. In this case, I'm going to click on this one, Chicago O'Hare. Now you're going to see that gives you a few options. You have round trip. That's if you're going to find, you're going to fly out there and then you're going to come back. You're going to have one way. That is if you're only going to fly one way. And then multi-city is if, for example, you're gonna fly, let's say, Chicago to Miami, and then you're gonna drive all the way to Tampa and then fly back from Tampa, you would use multi-city. For the sake of today, let's use round trip. In this case, I'm gonna fly from Chicago to Medellin, Colombia. That's a flight I make quite often as that's home for me. And in this case, it's gonna ask you, okay, hey, what dates are you traveling? So let's say you're traveling from May 3rd till May 10th. So you're going to click on the one you want, then the one you're going to return on, and you click Done. Once you have all the information, make sure you have the amount of travelers that you want, click Search. It's going to come up for you. Now, a few things to keep in mind is when it comes up, it's going to give you perhaps what they call the best flight. And the best flight is price combined with duration. So in this case, for example, it shows like, okay, hey, there's a few flights through Copa, there's Spirit, or even American Airlines. Round trip $323 per traveler, $375 per traveler. And you're also going to notice up here, it's going to show us what it costs if we traveled on a different day. So if you were open, for example, traveling Saturday instead of Friday, you notice here you could save some money in there. So let's say, hey, I'm okay traveling that Saturday. I'm gonna click there and boom. Now it shows if you were traveling out on May 4th, Saturday, and returning on May 11th, what would this trip look like? And As you could see, we would be able to save some money if we were able to make that change. Once you find the trip that you want, just go ahead and click on the one that you're happy with and select it. Now, here's something that's very important. You're going to notice in here that Expedia gives you a couple different choices, and it's important to review these because if you're planning to travel with a large bag, for example, sometimes it will make sense for you to book a trip that is a little bit more expensive but includes your bags. As you could see here, hey, you'd have to pay to select a seat. It does come with a personal item, which is, your traditional small backpack. For a carry-on, you'd have to pay between $31 and $99. First check bag for a fee, so you'd have to pay to check bag, and then it has cancellation fees and change fees do apply. So that's when you really want to look like, okay, this is $285. The next option is 320, but let's look at that. This one actually includes a carry-on, which the other one didn't, and the first check bag it's $45. It also has a fee to select the seat. So you can actually pay a little bit more, 391, and all of a sudden you have a seat choice, you have a personal item, a carry-on bag, first check bag is included too. So you want to make sure you select the option that accommodates the most for your trip. If you're doing a basic fair trip where you're just gonna pack a backpack, choose the cheapest one. It doesn't matter. If you're gonna check a bag, you're gonna bring a lot of stuff with you. Just make sure you do review kind of your options there. In this case, let's say that having a bag was important for me and also being able to have a seat choice. Go ahead and click select. You're gonna have to do the same thing with your return flight. So as you might notice here, it's telling us we would need to take a different airline, Spirit, on our flight back to keep it at that price. So we're gonna have the same problem. We cannot select a seat. We cannot check in a carry-on bag or a first check bag. So just make sure you pair the airline. In this case, I'm gonna use American Airlines, and you're gonna see that you could select your same choice. It's gonna cost you $19 more than the cheapest choice. You select it, and now it's going to come up with all the trip details and your costs for you to book it. Now, you're going to see here a couple of things. So, total cost of the trip would be $409, which round trip Chicago to Medellin, Colombia is actually not bad. I've seen those trips go for like $900,000, but it's going to tell you, okay, you'd be leaving May 4th on a Saturday, 12:39 p.m. Your total trip time would be about 7 hours and 36 minutes, and you'd have one stop. Review your return, Medellin to Chicago. It's going to show you down there. And now it's going to let you select whether you want to upgrade. That's just marketing. You don't need to upgrade. But if you'd like to upgrade, go ahead. And then seats, you're going to see in there, choice included. You're going to be able to select your seats right from here. If you're somebody that likes the aisle or likes the window, go ahead and try to do that. If not, you could just go ahead and move on. Now, you're going to see here, okay, we're having a problem on our end. Let's click retry, see what happens. Okay, so now this is very normal to happen when there's very few seats left. In this case, I'm just going to click checkout. Let's see if we can move on. Perfect. So now gives us the breakdown. You're paying about $259 for the trip, $150 for taxes and fees. And in here, you're going to add your travelers. So where it says first name, and go ahead and enter your first name, your last name. Take your time, input all of your info in here. I highly encourage you to review these 2 or 3 times. If you mess up your name, if you mess something up here, you're gonna have to get in contact with the airline or with Expedia and do a lot of things so that they count ticket because you cannot show an ID that differs to your ticket at all. So they're quite sticklers with that one. So make sure you review it. Once you have all the information there and you're 100% sure that the information is correct, you can go ahead and proceed to pay. It's going to ask you for your card, credit card, and so on, as well as it's going to ask you for the country and territory for your billing. Very standard stuff for online purchases. And down here, it's going to ask you for the insurance. Uh, I have kind of a duality with insurance. So the one time I've actually bought insurance, I ended up using it. The rest of the times I've never bought insurance and never needed it. So, you know, if you're somebody that your life changes fast, you maybe have any medical emergencies that happen every now and then, or any medical situations, or perhaps the people you're traveling with are in stages of life in which things can change really quick, buy the insurance. They're actually decent at refunding some of those things. It does take a couple months and such, but hey, at least you're protected. If you're traveling with somebody that perhaps loses their bags or things like that, just check it out. Now, I do have to say, I'm not an insurance expert. I don't get compensated for any of these, so you do what you want to do there, but just sharing my own experience traveling. So in this case, I'm going to choose no, just because normally I don't buy it. And then I'm going to go ahead and complete the booking. Now, with that being said, once you complete the booking, it's going to send you a confirmation. Sometime it might come within 5 and 10 minutes. Sometimes it might take about a day. Once you have that confirmation, very important thing to know, review it in detail because it's important to review it in detail because you have 24 hours to make changes to your reservation with no cost. So when you book through Expedia or when you book through most providers in the USA, there's a law that protects people that purchase airline tickets that basically allows you for 24 hours to make changes to your reservation with no cost. And you're going to see here that it tells you about that. Hey, free cancellation within 24 hours. You're so close to securing these tickets. Now, I'm not going to book these tickets. This was just an example for you to learn more about how to book these. I hope it was helpful. If there's any other things that you'd like to learn how to book, how to schedule, how to look into them, or even research when you're traveling, feel free to leave them in the comments and we'll be creating videos to help you. Thank you.